A cool afternoon is giving way to an even cooler evening around southern West Virginia. Let's take a look at what's happening right now. Route 460 at Ambrose, looking back towards the interstate, of course. Beckley on the left, Wytheville, Virginia, and Bluefield are on the right. As you take a look at the traffic, it's flowing nicely and smoothly, and of course pretty quiet. After all, it is after 11 o'clock on a Wednesday night. Right now we're down to 53 at the airport, at the Beckley airport that is. I guarantee we'll drop below 50 as we go through the nighttime hours tonight. Third day in a row that we'll be able to do that. Relative humidity is 64%. The barometer is at 30.23, so quite high because high pressure is really in charge of our weather. Winds out of the south-southeast at 5 miles per hour. Make it feel it's even cooler than that. Sunset time this evening was at 8:01. Sunrise time tomorrow morning a few minutes before 7 o'clock. 68 in Charlotte, 72 in Atlanta, 67 in D.C., 58 in Cleveland, 62 in Indianapolis, 67 in Chicago, 72 in Nashville. Temperature is pretty cool all the way down to the Gulf Coast as that cool air mass has been pretty dominant for much of the week throughout much of the eastern third of the country. You have to go way to the north up into Canada, northern Michigan, northern Wisconsin, UP of Michigan to see any kind of real showers this evening. And there also are some over the Canadian Maritimes back into the far northeastern New England states like Maine, for example. And we're seeing a few showers and isolated storms off to our southwest over portions of Arkansas and back into Missouri. Futurecast as we go through the next several days. A couple of systems are going to be affecting our weather. A couple of factors will be affecting our weather. One is a front, which will try to make its way through the region. You notice that Futurecast, as we look at Friday 6 o'clock, is trying to paint a few showers over the state. This will be pretty hard for the showers to hit the ground, make it into local rain buckets because it is pretty dry out there. Another system, another actual feature of the weather is going to be some upsloping on Saturday and into Sunday. So there could be some possible showers in Virginia could make their way into the southern coal fields as we go through our Sunday. And in fact, the Weather Service office in Blacksburg, Virginia, which covers our southern counties, is actually calling for some showers as we go through our Sunday in places like Bluefield. Speaking of Bluefield, highs tomorrow are going to be sitting in the lower 70s by the time we finish it off. Lower to middle 70s in Summersville, Fayetteville, Oak Hill, meanwhile, we'll top out right around 73 degrees. We see this is a pretty common trend around the region. We'll start off in the upper 40s and then rise up into the lower 70s as we finish things off. Down to the southern coal fields we go, 77 in Pineville, 75 should be your high tomorrow in Welch. 7-day forecast. High temperatures are going to rise back up. Now you did notice that if you watched earlier shows, I hadn't put a shower in the south on Sunday, but I will go ahead and toss one in there. I don't have it in there graphically. The reason for that is because the chances are pretty small, but they are there. And again, the Weather Service office in Blacksburg does want to put a few showers in places like Bluefield. Bottom line is that any chance for rain is going to be pretty small because the air is still pretty dry and will continue to be that way throughout much of our extended forecast. High temperatures, they'll rebound nicely. They'll be in the middle 70s. By the time we go through Tuesday and Wednesday, lows rise up just a shade into the lower to middle 50s.
All right, so it's pretty stable going forward to the week ahead.
That's right.
Now, something I noticed is that we have such a big, I don't want to say swing, but we have a pretty big difference in our lows and highs.
Right.
Is that typical for late summer, early fall?
It's just because it's dry, and so the air cools off pretty significantly after you lose the heating of the day and after you see the sunset. Then it rises up pretty quickly once the sun comes up because the sun angle is still pretty high in the sky this time of the year.
All right, well, the more you know, right?
Okay.
All right, thank you so much for that, and thank you so much for that lesson. Now we have more news, weather, and sports coming your way after the break, so don't go anywhere.